Gentili ospiti tutti, tra poco avrà inizio la cerimonia, per cui vi invitiamo a prendere posto in platea. Vi ricordiamo
Hello everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the handover ceremony of MSC Seashore and its protagonists, Fincantieri and MSC Cruises. Welcome to every one of you here in the theater and those of you who are following us on live streaming. Well, there is something highly symbolic about what is taking place here today. An extraordinary creature is being handed over from those who conceived her and gave her life to those who will accompany her on the routes of her new life, all over the world. Today, we are celebrating not only a record ship, a masterpiece of technology and design, but also the contemporary symbol of a nation which, thanks to its unique abilities, is back on track. And it is back on track with unrivaled style, beauty, and class. So, MSC Seashore is a national masterpiece, born right here in Fincantieri's largest production site. This historic and yet modern shipyard is the heart of a city that is evolving, changing its identity to project itself into a sustainable future. I give the floor to the Mayor of Monfalcone, Madame Anna Maria Cisint. Good morning, everyone. Today is a very special day. I am really excited because we're talking about going back on track. I would like to thank Mr. Minister, honoring with his presence here not only Fincantieri but also the city of Monfalcone. I would like to thank the Aponte family, Mr. Aponte, for the confidence that you have been putting into this shipyard and our city for years now. President Vargo, CEO, Mr. Bono, Fincantieri CEO Bono. I would like to thank the prefect, the admirals, the officers of the Harbor Office, all of those of you who today have decided to be here present to attend this event. I would say that this is an occasion to start all over again, go back on track. I would like to thank also all of those who are connected live streaming and thank all of those who have been continuing to work during this dramatic period. And that is why I would like to begin my very short speech by saying that I would like to start with a sentence. A worker of this shipyard that I met once told me, looking towards the MSC Seashore, so much hard work, but look at her, she is so beautiful. And I believe that this statement, this sentence, really summarizes all the importance and the many emotions that affect and influence our community. We live in the past. We've historically been a shipyard country and city. In the hard work, in these words, you can see that there is anxiety and all the problems stemming from the difficult situation, the situation in which we had to accept all the restrictions and limitations connected with the widespreading of the pandemic. We have experienced the preoccupations and fears at a time in which COVID-19 has put at risk our entire production system and jobs, the economy, and therefore the fight, the very fight of our country. We're afraid that strategic sectors such as this one could be affected and strongly affected in a negative way, and that consequently the workload and the perspectives, the prospects that we well know about having of our shipyard were compromised and jeopardized. I play a role, and I'm a mayor of this complex town, Monfalcone, where Fincantieri is at the heart of the city. Well, my duty is to safeguard the collective health of the community. All those who live in this community and who work in this community. And at the same time, I have to safeguard and protect the production system. And this required enormous effort on our part. But we did so and addressed this issue in synergy, working together, the municipality, the regional government, the prefect, the forces, the police, and first and foremost, Fincantieri, and I thank you for this. And now that critical moments hopefully are behind us, mind you, we cannot forget the hard times of those months in the past and the human availability and readiness to support us. And I really would like to thank you and to pay tribute to you. In its over 110 years of history, over and over again, for many times we know it. I've been here since 1963, observing, experiencing the life of the city in its 110 years of history. Over and over again, the Monfalcone shipyard has found itself in a situation in which it had to start all over again, to reinvent a new role, a new mission, but it has always been able to become a leader, a world leader again. And this ship represents the continuity of this history. And it represents the will to want to continue being a world leader. Well, in that first sentence that my friend said, you can also see the sign of satisfaction, indication of satisfaction and pride. This is what the workers here feel, as well as the community. And our city wants to look to the future with optimism. We continue to believe in this. And the future now is opening up formidable prospects. And in this sense, MSC represents for Monfalcone an amazing and important value, an asset. This major company, one of the leaders worldwide, not only in the cruise industry, has believed and wagered on the ability and skills of our shipyard, entrusting it with the construction of very many ships, of very valuable ships like this one and the ones that will come in the future. The newest born, MSC Seashore, It distinguishes itself by very many productive records, apart from the very size of this ship, as Mr. Aponte himself was telling me. So innovation, technology, safety, style, design, beauty, these are all things that make her exclusive, one of its kind. Monfalcone is proud to have been in some way, thanks to the quality of its naval productions, part of the success of this international company, and a company that has unquestionable managerial skills and entrepreneurial skills. So recently, there's been a lot of talk about access of cruise ships to Venice. And because of this, the issues concerning this, Monfalcone has received a positive impact. And we want to be part of this process. And so Monfalcone is part of what is expected from the new recovery plan for the municipality. It has been a very moving situation and an unforgettable event and a moment July the 10th. On that occasion, I welcomed in the port of Monfalcone the very first cruise ship that was operational with over 1,000 passengers on board, MSC Orchestra, and welcoming the captain, Nicola Gravante. It was my very first time. I was very excited. So Monfalcone is a shipyard that is building the biggest cruise ships in the world, and it is now becoming a port of call. And the presence of cruise ships will be here guaranteed for the whole of this summer. So you can well understand how important this is for the city, especially the city that sees that the ships that were built here come back here with passengers on board. And you can also realize what the prospects are from an economic point of view and job and employment point of view. Let's talk about employment. Italy occupies only 58% of adults, as against 65% of France and 67% in Germany. And I believe that we should all do our best so that we can introduce an innovative development model and growth model. We see that there is a growth in the GNP plus 5.3, well beyond our expectations, and this seems to be a solution to the employment issue. And also developing the port is part of our plans. It is one of the bets that we are wagering, and we're doing so also thanks to the new development plan for the port, investments for infrastructure, and everything that is being done in synergy with the regional government, the harbor office, and all the different institutions. We want to also enlarge the city. So we will be promoting our port services, and cruise industry is an opportunity for growth in terms of number of jobs. I've said so already, and I want to stress so. And I know that the city of Monfalcone will be able to show that, together with the ability to produce and manufacture and build the best and most beautiful ships in the world, the city can also offer the same level of hospitality that is required with the necessary services. And so we are very excited that we have achieved a new production accomplishment after the difficult months of lockdown and restrictions. And all of this is done within the framework of a city that intends to continue producing excellent ships, but it is renewing herself as a city with new perspectives in the nautical sector, in port services, cruise industry, and also enhancing its historic and cultural heritage and assets. This is our vision and view for the future, a future that has already begun. So that statement, so much hard work, but look how beautiful she is, gives you an idea of a pride of the technicians and the sense of belonging of the workers who are the ones who actually built the ship. And it is to these workers that my concluding remarks go. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of the city of Monfalcone. If you think back to the long history of this shipyard, shipyard, we need to be able to grasp the need and understand the need to renew ourselves, as has been done in the past. And also we be able to understand the needs of our local suppliers so that they become protagonists of the production work done by the shipyard. That can be summarized in this sentence: we are the ones who made these ships. And this tells you that there is integration between the shipyard and the local territory, because this is an asset for the community of Monfalcone. And so this new beginning must also be the opportunity to relaunch our workers and the importance of our workers and our local territory, as well as this great shipyard and of these great companies. Thank you.
Grazie Sindaco, grazie al Sindaco di Monfalcone.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor of Monfalcone, Anna Maria Cisint. Well, the title of this event speaks for itself. Italy full ahead. This new ship is the image of a nation, our nation, a nation that has overcome the perfect storm and is now ready to go full steam ahead on its route. MSC Seashore is a product of the dedication that every single one of the 4,300 people who have worked hard during the past months, even through the most difficult times, to reach this moment that we are celebrating here today. One of these people, speaking for every one of the others, Robert Charles Alexander, Head of Quality Control of the Monfalcone Shipyard. To you, the floor. Good morning. Allow me to begin by thanking the company for giving me the chance to be here today to take the floor on this stage. It is a great honor for me, and it is a sign of professional acknowledgement to be the one speaking here on behalf of all my co-workers. My name is Robert Alexander, and my job here at the Monfalcone Shipyard is with the Quality Control Group. I landed in Italy about 6 years ago after several professional experiences that took me from the UK to China and then on to South Korea. I have always been a quite curious person, curious about everything, and I'm always keen on learning more about the technical aspects of any issue at work. And this because I feel the need to improve my skills and to gain experience. Well, I couldn't have chosen a better place to come to work. Well, every day, building these beautiful ships, well, it is a new challenge. And the word challenge has been the driver of my professional career at Fincantieri. In 2015, I started off working at the prefabrication department, where I was in charge of automatic system lines optimization. The main challenge, the biggest one, and in some ways the hardest one, had to do with integration. When you're far away from home, and on top of that, you're in a foreign country, well, at some point, you have to deal with integration. And to me, as an Englishman, this experience was even harder because of the Brexit. Then there's the language issue, different customs and habits of the hosting country. And on top of that, there's a new job to do. But I soon realized that there are two things which, more than any other, can help make this process easier. The support you get from your coworkers and their families, and the ability to understand and adapt. Well, right from my very first day with the company, everyone I met was very supportive. They were all always ready to help, giving advice, so that I could immediately become an integrated part of the large Fincantieri family, and I could immediately start feeling at home in this country. The ability to adapt, call it resilience if you wish, was the main tool to overcome daily obstacles. And this holds true both for my personal and my professional growth. Resilience. Resilience, together with determination and with the immense technical and human skills I have seen and appreciated over the past 6 years, well, these are the elements that enable us to build products that are unequaled in the world. Well, after a couple of years, the company offered me another challenge. And that is how I became part of the quality control group of the shipyard. And later, I was appointed as quality control manager, so head of quality control. Well, in this new context, my desire to venture upon continuously new processes and to improve the product for our clients was, well, to say the least, satisfied. As we all know, however, the challenge within the challenge was to be able to complete this spectacular ship at a time when the whole world had to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. At a time, a difficult time, when we all felt at a loss and fear was the most widespread sentiment, well, the company once again proved that there is no challenge that cannot be overcome with determination, planning, and technical and managerial skill. The Monfalcone shipyard, and with us all the other Fincantieri production sites, have been a role model for many other Italian companies, continuing production, protecting the workers' health, and guaranteeing their jobs. Never did we lower our guard. And at a dramatic time, such as the one we still remember quite clearly, the skill and resilience of the thousands of people who are part of Fincantieri made it possible to fulfill another new achievement, delivering today this ship, the biggest one ever to have been built in Italy. Oh, speaking of challenges, well, my most recent challenge was about 2 weeks ago, when I came to work the day after the European Championships final, Italy versus England. Well, let me tell you, I lived it like a derby. Oh, so very painful. And you can imagine how hard it was for me to go to the office the next morning. Yet, after spending so many years in this wonderful country, well, to me it felt like a match between my two favorite national teams. I thank you all. May this splendid ship give her passengers and her crew the same enormously rewarding experiences she has given my co-workers and myself in building her. Fair winds, MSC Seashore. Thank you. Thank you, Robert Charles Alexander. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up people to collect wood, and don't assign them tasks and work, but rather teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. This is a quote by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was not a man of the sea. He was a man of the sky, an aviator, but he had flown over the sea so many times that he was well aware of its fascinating and seductive power. A lot of work was put into making MSC Seashore, a lot of engineering and skill, extraordinary craftsmanship. But most importantly, this ship has a soul, a wish coming from those who designed and built her, weld after weld, section after section. It is a wish that has many names. It is called social responsibility, sustainability, shared value. To me, it simply means having a clear and specific idea of the world and of the role one intends to play in this world. Well, Fincantieri has a very clear idea. Did you know that every day 1 out of every 3 cruise passengers travels and will travel on a ship built by Fincantieri? Well, every ship made by Fincantieri marks out a precise route not only at sea, but also in terms of our planet's industrial development. Let us watch this together.
fare, sapere, fare. Le coordinate della nostra rotta nel mare che abbiamo davanti. La stessa, unica, esatta, che ci porta in tutto il mondo, che non ci fa avere paura, anche quando intorno è buio e tempesta. Siamo tanti, siamo grandi, ma andiamo con passo attento, responsabile, per lasciare nel mondo scie leggere. Le persone, le nostre, le altre, tutti. Un valore che abbiamo in mente ogni volta che facciamo una scelta. Siamo Fincantieri.
Vediamo sul palco.
I would like to invite to join me on stage the CEO of Fincantieri, Mr. Giuseppe Bono. Good morning, everyone. Dear Mr. Minister, you have a very hard task to carry out in this country. Getting the economy back on track, relaunching it, together with the infrastructure it needs. Ours is a very bizarre country because it has consumed and covered a lot and consumed a lot of territory, but not always in the right way. So we are in your hands. We've been talking about sustainability for years now. At the beginning, some of us maybe were suspicious about it, but now there's a new slogan. On our part, we sat down and started thinking. I think that we were among the very first companies to draw up a sustainability budget, and it has been appreciated. But that's not enough. It is not enough to have simply put it down in writing. So we've tried to put it in practice, to implement it with our workers, with the communities of the places where we work, and with our clients. And allow me to thank Gianluigi Aponte, who's created a great company, number one in the world in the maritime industry. But he's also a visionary, like I pride myself to be. In 2014, we were experiencing a dramatical crisis following the 2008-2009 crisis. In those years, we were brave enough to purchase some shipyards in the sites that were supposed to produce work for the Navy. Well, it sounded crazy. Well, less than 10 years ago, 10 years later, we've already built 16 vessels for the American Navy. We're building another 4 for another Navy, same kind of vessel. And during the pandemic, we managed to get one of the most important orders from the American Navy. And then new orders came up, thanks to this, with Egypt, Indonesia recently, and also the Navy. We have become leading shipbuilders in the world, as we already are for cruise ships. And I must say that that intuition, that courage that we had back in 2014, in which there were only 2 or 3 ships being built on the year, to us, it meant changing completely the course of our company, moving away from a traditional client that had allowed us to grow, of course, to embrace a new client. and perhaps also risking being sorry about it. But we did it. And we did it, and we were convinced and believed in it. And we did it on the basis of a project that I must say that MSC has embraced. It is an innovative project, and this ship is none other than the continuation of this project. Well, then the more you eat, the more you want to eat. This is a saying, Italian saying. And so now for MSC, we are working on coming up with one of the most beautiful luxury cruise ships ever to have been built. And all of this is the result of farsightedness, vision, but mostly passion, and of course, determination. We did it on our own, by ourselves. To Francesco Vago and Alexa, his beautiful wife, well, they both know how difficult it's been for us to convince our export credit agency to give us the guarantees required and warranties required. Well, this is the only support, but it's a common support to the rest of the world also that we received. All the rest, we did it. We built it piece by piece. We built credibility, a working style. We all heard and appreciated what was said earlier on. There's not only workers out there, there's technicians coming from other parts of the world, and we integrate them, and they become an important piece of what we stand for, the country. But very often, things are not so clear. We are an extraordinary people, but we are individualists. There's something that actually happened where we were supposed to deliver a ship in Norway, and the ship wasn't finished. So we took the ship there. We entrusted her to our shipyards, Norwegian shipyards, and we sent over some members of the company that had been working at the ship in Italy. And after a while, we realized that the ship would never have been finished. So the manager that was there, called his people, called his team from La Spezia. And it was a Neapolitan team. Well, these people jumped in a plane, went to the shipyard, and they said, hey, you didn't bring anything with you. So how can we do the job? And the head of the team said, well, I'm here. Well, you should start by thanking me that we all managed to get on a plane, for starters. I said, okay, don't worry. I'm just going to go around and see what the situation is like. And the Norwegian said, no, this is it's not a simple job. And we know Italians are not seen favorably, just as we in Italy not always look favorably at those coming from other countries. Well, they treat us exactly the same way in other countries. He says, listen, the Italian guy said, listen, I'm just going to walk around and come back midday. I'll tell you what the feedback is. So midday comes, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. And the guy finally comes back, and the Norwegian says, hey, you took your time, didn't you? And he said, well, we were there, so it was lunchtime when we had lunch. And what about the tools you need? Oh, don't worry. We've got the manager of the warehouse, a foreigner too. Everything was ready, and all the tools were ready. And then there was a Polish man, and he says, okay, but he's going to stay on, even though his shift is finished. And so the comment of this engineer was, well, they don't hate us. all look unfavorably to us as a people. Maybe as a people, they like us, but they don't like us because as individuals, we are able to do things that not everyone is able to do. So this ability of ours to be ingenious, our flexibility in solving issues. Mr. Minister, well, Fincantieri is experiencing it on a daily basis. It wasn't easy to bring this company together, to uniform it, standardize it. At the beginning, we had conflicts with the trade unions, that was always contrasting the top management. Today, we have a company that is well motivated. Everyone has understood that we're all working to achieve the same goal. And I believe that this is one of the most important accomplishments and achievements that I'm proud of having achieved and reached. I personally, together with all the people working with me. So I decided to express these examples because, dear Mr. Minister, I strongly believe that we as a country are able to do great things. But we can achieve great things only if we work together. Madam Mayor was talking about this earlier on, but she forgot to mention that we tried so hard to bring Italian workers to come to work for us, and we have not succeeded so far. So we need to move and take action as together. Today, we either act as a nation, as Italy, or we're bound to die. We have the money, and if we spend this money in the wrong way, or if we do not spend the money properly, we will probably have negative effects, and we cannot afford this. Mr. Minister, this is the appeal that I am making, and I'm expressing our commitment as Fincantieri. We want to work so that what we spend with our company, it has a return. We cannot, and profit, we cannot leave to our children and grandchildren debts. We must make products that are profitable, and we will always be ready to be there at your side. I'm not talking about technologies or other things like that. I know that we're working on some major projects, and some people say, well, what have these projects got to do with building ships? Well, they have to do with building ships, because ships are a concentration of work, of technology, of skills, and especially of organization. We organize thousands and thousands of companies, and for each one of these companies, we must make it possible for them to carry out their part of the job in the right time frame, because otherwise we would have negative consequences for them and for us, and we would lose in terms of competitiveness. It is not an easy job, but we are proud to be able to say that the most significant know-how of this company is being able to manage complex situations. We live at a time when everything is complex in all fields: finance, social, economy, and also with technology. Well, this is our starting point, managing this complexity, and then from there, go back to our experience. We have a lot of experience, and make it profitable. We are able to build a lot of ships. This ship is 170,000 gross tonnage. It means it has a volume of 170,000 tons. It means it can carry 6,000 passengers plus the crew. Let me add something that maybe you do not realize. 6,000 passengers Well, this ship was designed by us and by the client so that the passengers can enjoy their privacy. So they're not packed up in the ship. There are some modern ships that are very, what we call dense, and so they do not have the characteristics of this ship. And then there's beauty. Yes, I can say it loud and clear, Italian beauty. Well, I know maybe I took up maybe too much of your time. I don't know whether you deserve to listen to all of this, but maybe for the very first time after suffering so much, maybe we will write a book on how we address the COVID-19 pandemic, how we organize the closure and reopening of the company with raw materials. There was a shortage of raw material, so there were a lot of employees that had to go back to their countries of origin. So many difficulties that we had to address and overcome, but we managed to overcome them. Thank you, one and all. We built the ship together. We, the client, classification societies that supported us, a world of entrepreneurs, of small and medium-sized companies and enterprises. Over 3,000 SMEs work for us. I mean, this ability to bring things together is one of the most significant experiences that we and the country must take into consideration and use for the future. To all the passengers, well, Captain, I hope that this company will have a lot of passengers, because the more passengers it takes on board, the more ships Mr. Aponte will order for us to make. Thank you, Mr. Bono, for your beautiful words. You go to the theater as on stage. This is what Arthur Miller said during an interview. And being a genius, he was able to bring together in one single sentence the religious respect for a location and the uniqueness of an outstanding experience. While referring to MSC Cruises, I'd say you go to sea as at sea. One goes to sea with unrivaled style, not only in terms of how MSC Seashore was designed with her unmistakable outline recognizable even from afar, but also in terms of the kind of experience that one wants to offer to her guests. For starters, making her guests feel as close as possible to nature, to the sea, in the style of a family with over 300 years of history. We are honored to have here with us today the founder of the group, Mr. Gianluigi Aponte. Good morning and welcome. So I was saying 300 years that have taught this family to believe in the future, to make it happen, and to tell fellow travelers about it. Let us watch together. so much passion, so much history. And with the same passion, I would like to greet on the stage Executive President of MSC Cruises, Mr. Francesco Vago. Of family, Minister Giovannini, parliamentarians, Admiral Carlone, Mr. Prefect, Madame Cisind, Mayor of Monfalcone, authorities, civil, military, and religious, Mr. President Massolda, Mr. Bono, ladies and gentlemen. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you all for being here sincerely on behalf of the entire MSC Group. Today, we are celebrating the delivery of our new flagship, MSC Seashore. She is a ship that is symbol of our commitment towards Italy, as you just saw. And she is a jewel in the crown of most advanced made in Italy from an industrial, technological, and naval design terms, and of course, and mostly in environmental terms. The building of MSC Seashore required 12 million man-hours and carried out by 4,300 workers. And she is yet another evidence of our will as a group to invest in Italy. And in fact, it is an investment that generates by itself a positive effect on the Italian economy amounting to almost 5 billion euros, not mentioning the fact that the ship, during its life, her life, acts as a driving force for tourism and economy. Today's event, given the current situation in particular, is a sign of clear and sensible optimism, proving that our group believes in the future of the cruise industry, where Fincantieri plays a central role, but also in the Italian industry's workmanship. And also when it comes to the recovery prospects of a country such as Italy, Italy is a country that prides itself of most of the oldest nautical tradition in the world, and that could benefit even more, especially in this moment, of the resilience and recovery capacity of the blue economy, the economy of the sea. Well, in the past 2 months alone, together with Fincantieri, we have celebrated 3 major events. At the beginning of June, the beginning of the construction of another ship of ours, Explorer 1. She is the first of 4 ships that will make up the fleet of our new luxury cruise brand, a brand that is engaging us with Fincantieri for additional 2 billion investments for the construction of ships alone, and it will generate an economic benefit for the country amounting to 9 billion euros, ensuring Italy several thousands very precious jobs until the year 2026. Several other thousands jobs are guaranteed by the construction of MSC Seascape, sister ship of MSC Seashore. The coin ceremony for MSC Seascape was held only a month ago. Our investment plan with Fincantieri envisages, apart from the 3 ships I've already mentioned, concluding today's, the construction and building of another 5 ships for an investment amounting to about 3 billion euros, capable of generating an overall economic benefit for the country amounting to over 13 billion euros. And that is why today's event represents another milestone with our partnership with Italy, proving that our group, which between cruises, cargo, ferry boats, terminals, and other activities directly employs in Italy about 15,000 people, generating an employment impact of another 35,000 persons. We have never stopped believing in the future of the cruise industry, nor have we stopped investing in Italy despite the huge challenges characterizing the past 18 months. In this respect, because we are only 100 nautical miles away from Venice, allow me to make some remarks in this respect. The delivery of this ship is taking place only a few days after the Italian government's decision to change the rules governing cruise ship traffic in the Venetian lagoon. Now, this decision poses major difficulties. I will be clear about this. Cruises are some very elaborate operations, and organizing in just a few days alternative solutions is very difficult. We would have appreciated if the decision to close the Giudecca Marghera, something which for years, both as MSC and as within the cruising sector, we have been asking for an alternative. Well, if this decision had been made when berthing was available in the port of Marghera, but unfortunately, this was not the case. And we managed to find a solution only thanks to the collaboration and availability found here in Monfalcone. And that is why I would like to thank sincerely President D'Agostino and the Mayor Cisint and the maritime authorities represented here by Admiral Vitale and Commander Nicosia, but also by through the prefect, all the police, the border police, the customs bureau, financial police, technical nautical services, and the TTP terminal. Together with Monfalcone, I would like to thank also the city of Trieste and its authorities, where we have been based for some time now and very satisfactorily so. I also would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the new president and chairman of the Northern Adriatic Seaports Port System Authority, Mr. Fulvio Lino Di Blasio. We'll have a lot of work to do together. And just after he's just taken office, and right away he has to address a very decisive and complicated phase for the port of Venice. I firmly believe that thanks also to the special powers that the government has given to him as a commissioner, he will be able to do well and fast. In fact, Mr. Minister, it is essential that by the beginning of the next season, that is to say by spring 2022, berthage in Marghera is available. I can assure you that this is something feasible, and we are ready to collaborate to achieve this result. If the cruising traffic, as we hope, will go back to the 2019 levels, berths in Trieste, Monfalcone, and Marghera will not be sufficient to meet the growing demand for cruises departing from the northern Adriatic Sea. And they have an impact along the whole of the Adriatic Sea going down south. So Venice and Trieste will have to work in synergy, and more so. But we need to accelerate some infrastructure, starting from the high-speed railway Trieste-Venice, because it is extremely important for tourism in Italy. Allow me now to talk about something else. This beautiful ship, MSC Seashore, a ship that will proudly represent us and Italy in the world in the future. MSC Seashore will become a member of one of the most advanced fleets in the world, especially from a point of view of technology, environment, and sustainability. Like all our ships, MSC Seashore 2, on MSC Seashore 2, we have implemented the best solutions available on the market. An innovative system for controlling emission gases, and also very advanced sewage treatment system. Compared to a traditional ship, MSC Seashore reduces sulfur monoxide emissions by 98% and nitrogen monoxide emissions by 90%. We're not stopping here because we are seriously committed towards meeting the zero emission goal by 2050. But in order to do so, right away, we need to identify our new possible solutions. A very important role is being played by low carbon fuels. They can be produced in a sustainable manner, but in this respect, what is still lacking is the necessary infrastructure. And that is why it is essential for ship owners, ship yards, fuel producers, and infrastructural operators work in close partnership together with authorities and institutions, and also at European level. This is a very difficult accomplishment. There is no technology. I fully understand that political authorities find it to have issues about environmental impact, but if the government, the system, if we do not work together to find solutions, then it will be really difficult to find a solution. And hydrogen, for example, is another example of how we shall not wait for others to show us the way towards environmental sustainability. Quite the contrary. And actually, I want to make an announcement, a very important announcement. Together with Fincantieri and SNAM, we are designing a zero-emission ship. We're talking about a revolutionary project capable of opening up new frontiers, because she will be the first big cruise ship in the world to be fueled both with LNG and hydrogen. And she will be an important record for Italy because she will be built in Italy. I think that this is important and significant. And thanks also to this project, we know that we are moving in the right direction to ensure sustainability of our activities and potentially of the abilities of the entire cruise industry, not only in the short, but also in the medium and long term. But these initiatives are very elaborate and complex, and they need to agree with important industrial, infrastructural, energy, technology, and environmental aspects. Accomplishing them, it is not sufficient to have investments, even though the major investment from the private sector. Instead, we need an overall and organic view that can be guaranteed only by the country as working as a system, without forgetting the essential contribution coming from Europe. I do acknowledge, Mr. Minister, that the government has worked well, especially when it comes to the National Recovery Plan and infrastructure and in the shipping industry in general, allocating important sums, additional sums to the maritime sector, especially with regard to the renewal and adjustment of the ferryboat fleet. But when it comes to infrastructure, more needs to be done. Efforts made by the ship owners by building increasingly eco-friendly ships such as this one risk being thwarted and risk being in vain if then in the ports we do not find electrified docks or the possibility to refuel with LNG or hydrogen. We hope that authorities and institutions will support our course and our efforts. Together with sustainability, another major challenge has to do with safety and health on board. We were the first in the world to resume navigating in August 2020, and to be able to do so, we developed the Protocol of Health and Safety, which is viewed as the best in the world. It is a protocol that served as a model at international level, and not only in the tourist sector, and it still is unrivaled. We drew it up together with a group of international experts, and especially with the final contribution of the Italian institutions and authorities, whom I want to thank once again. For Italy, it was yet another record that Italy can be very proud of. Very many countries asked to copy our protocol. Let me point out that MSC Seashore is also, and this is something else that we've come up with together with the technicians from Fincantieri. She is the very first ship in the world to be equipped with a safe air system. It is a highly innovative air filtering system guaranteeing 100% clean, fresh air inside the ship. Because of this new innovation, an important one and a timely one, I thank Fincantieri and the International Center of Genetic Engineering and Biotechnologies of Trieste, which made this success and result possible. Thank you. Mr. Bono, thank you for delivering to us this beautiful ship. It wasn't easy. Enormous efforts. We worked side by side with all the workers. So please, I'll ask you to express our thanks and gratitude to Fincantieri management, to the workers, and to their trade unions. Thank you. I also would like to thank the authorities, local and national ones, for the ongoing support that they continue providing to our industry. And I would like to thank Admiral Pettorino for the important service done for the country and the entire Italian port system and the years in which he headed the Harbor Office force. Under his guidance, the Coast Guard has enjoyed even further prestige, also at international level, contributing in a critical way also in many ways and situations, also during the dramatic, addressing the dramatic situation of the pandemics. I also would like to congratulate Admiral Cardone, who succeeded only a few days ago Admiral Pettorino. And he chose for his first official public appearance to be today in his new capacity, prestigious capacity. We appreciated the way in which he directed the situations in Genoa and Liguria. I'm sure that he will play a fundamental role in the developing and safeguarding the entire port maritime sector. Thank you, Admiral. And last but not least, I would like to thank all the workers of the shipyard. They are the ones that make it possible to build every new ship. I'm fully aware that this was a major challenge, building this ship, a ship such as this one during the pandemic. So thank you. Sincerely. Special thanks go to my team, Emilio La Scala, Mimmo Lubran, and all the managers and employees and staff of our company involved in the construction of this ship. You are the backbone of this company, of this family. My last thanks goes to Captain Galano. I'm sure that you will take special care of MSC Seashore and her crew and her passengers. Thank you, and please express our thanks to the crew on my behalf and on behalf of the entire family. By tradition, every time we take delivery of a new ship, it is a member of the family that is a godmother, and this is a tradition that we honor, and that's extremely important and significant for us. Today, this privilege is assigned to my wife, Alexa. Her task is to welcome MSC Seashore and to bring her luck. Alexa, I know that you'll be able to carry out this task with all the care and diligence it requires. I'm sure of that. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Mr. Vago. Thank you. Italy full ahead. The title of our event, again, speaks for itself. This is a moment that speaks about Italy. Fincantieri and MSC Cruises are two major corporations sharing the same Italian identity. The ship that is hosting us today is an ambassador representing the nation's finest creative and industrial qualities worldwide. A nation that, despite the dramatic times, has been able to map out the right route, not only to leave troubled waters behind, but mostly to redefine the horizons and frontiers of our aspirations. It's my pleasure to give you Enrico Giovannini, Minister of Infrastructure and Sustainable Mobility. Good morning. Well, I am excited. Maybe you can perceive it. Well, because I'm on board such a beautiful ship, created, imagined, built by excellence. Well, it makes me feel that I need to be respectful and to admire this piece of work. I was pleased to accept your invitation, and I thank you for this, because this has given me the opportunity to gain a better understanding, also by listening to the speakers before me, of what lies behind such an extraordinary job as building a ship such as this one. Now, of course, I have never built a ship before, but actually, now, come to think of it, yes, it was about 25 years ago. It was winter, and I was on a holiday. At that time, my son was 8 years old. Well, at that time, it was, what was it? Grand Princess was the name of a ship that was delivered. I don't know if she's still navigating, but there was something special about her. There was this special thing projecting at the stern of the ship, from the stern of the ship. And I remember my son, well, he was passionate about playing with Lego pieces. And I told my son, well, let us build the Grand Princess. And that's what we did over the holidays. A 4-deck ship, using Lego pieces, of course. And of course, there were all the cabins, staterooms, and long story short, I believe that, in the words of the speakers before me, we have been able to feel the passion of someone that says, I want to do so and so. Perhaps going against logical reasonings, because I believe that that is the future. And then bringing together all the professionals and skills that are required to be able to accomplish this, and then insisting despite the difficulties. And then once you have realized a jewel such as this one, making it become operational. So making the dream come true, because the dream isn't that of building a ship. The dream is to take thousands of people for so many years around the world, improving their lives. I believe that this is the dream of every ship owner. Well, as you can see, I'm not reading the speech that was prepared, because the speakers before me were not formal, so I'm not going to be reading my formal speech. Well, I was saying that making a dream like this come true, well, for someone like myself who is heading such a complex ministry, well, it's an even more difficult task. Well, but for starters, you need to have a dream, don't you? And I really thank the CEO for reminding us and reminding me that for many years I've tried to help this country to have a dream, to realize a dream. And in fact, the book Sustainable Utopia is materializing thanks to the fact that people have understood that if there is no sustainable future, there's no future for anyone. But the outlook for the future is something that needs to be shared. And our vision for the future cannot be drawn up by one person alone or by one office alone. And that is why one of the first things I did as a minister was to set up a group involving businesses, trade unions, and associations of civil society to help us in drawing up policies, relevant policies. Now, with the governance decree, all ministers will have to do so. And this decree is being discussed in the parliament, because otherwise we will not move forward. And we need to move forward and towards a very complex situation. We've heard clearly what challenges are awaiting us, and they're not only technological challenges. They have to do with the vision of the world we want to build. We want to create a vision that requires integrated effort. There was no such thing as a conference of port engineers, sorry. So we decided that we need to hold meetings every 15 days or 7 days with all the heads of ports and harbors, so that we can sit down around the table and provide all harbors and ports with exactly the same services. And because they have to be standardized systems and services, because this is what the businesses need. And this is what makes a nation so complicated and complex. How do we set up a system? How do we work as a system? Now, from this point of view, the European Union not only allows us to have 191 billion euros to use in the years to come, but luckily, and fortunately, it has taught us how to plan, focusing on the results. It was a major effort that was involved, and that is why we need to move fast. Exactly as happened with the building that ship in Norway, because the nation is running late and we need to accelerate. How can we respect our timetable and make everyone respect it? Well, we're working hard to do so and to try to do so. Well, this week, hopefully, we'll be able to reach an agreement in our state-region conference for the use of 4 billion euros in harbors. Well, in this country, Never before has this amount been allocated for the development of green ports, electrified docks, and so on. But in order to be able to realize those docks, we need to take electricity to those docks. And then there's the issue of concessions and licenses and so on and so forth. So we're trying to introduce this systemic approach and learning from the private sector, especially when the private sector is an excellent private sector, because we have so many excellent companies in Italy, private companies in Italy. But what this shipyard shows us is that the lead partners can orient and drive the supply chains made up of those excellent SMEs, which are not as many as we would like for them to be, because we have very many SMEs that find it difficult to adjust and adapt and to become excellent enterprises. So this is the type of effort our government is focusing on right now, and it is a difficult effort, and that is why we are dialoguing with ship owners, builders, companies of different kinds, with trade unions, so that we can ensure the safety of the people. Because if this drive towards investing is not accompanied by some major profound changes within companies that need to learn from companies such as Fincantieri, where the safety of the worker is at the heart of their attention, well, then we would risk creating damaging situations for very many people, and we are not ready to accept this price. Well, I understood the shot about Venice. That was quite clear. The Venice issue. Yes, the government decided to make this decision. Now, if somebody was surprised about this what was decided, well, maybe you are not paying too much attention. But as was said, now we need to hurry up, make haste to find solutions, temporary solutions in Marghera. They need to be operational by spring next year, and that is why the head of the Port or Harbour Office was assigned special powers, but also investments, and not only the ones in the decree. In allocating the funds, there are additional investments to safeguard the lagoon, but also to do what needs to be done. And I was mentioning this with the CEO of Fincantieri. We're talking about that extraordinary work that they've started doing on that extraordinarily innovative technology, because our ports need an overall investment. Maybe you are not aware of the fact that Italy does not have an overall plan for dredging the ports. And this is just to tell you how the system did not function as a system. And this is what instead we're trying to put right. And also the issue of interconnections between ports and the hinterland and communication channels and canals. And soon, we hope to solve the issue of the railway connection between Venice and the airport of Venice. It's been under discussion for a long time now, but investment in the hinterland, the special hinterlands behind hinterland ports, the connections between roads and ports, this is something that the recovery plan is investing a lot. Let me conclude by making 3 remarks that are important to me. The ability to imagine the future. The ability, as was already said, that policy with a capital P should have, and the political world should have, and that the European Union and the package Fit for 55 is something that it intends to accomplish and achieve in a very short time, because a vision of a decarbonization by 2050 is a European invention. I am proud of being part of this European Union because after Europe, other countries decided to follow suit. Japan, South Korea, China. China indicated 2060 as a deadline. Why is this so important? Because those who are on the frontier in Europe are on the frontier in the world. It's an extraordinary business opportunity that we are facing, but we need to believe in it. And we also need to understand that once again, this type of transition, well, we either do it all together or we won't be able to make this transition. There are some people who still believe that we can do without this, maybe with some other type of help, economic help. Well, they have not understood that the world has changed. And those of you who will find themselves on the frontier of this change will have major opportunities to grasp. Second remark has to do with people. It is the people who make the difference. We heard it from the person who said how painful it was to realize that England lost against Italy. Well, Alexander used resilience as the key word. And finally, at last, this country has learned what resilience means. Well, now the National Plan for Recovery and Resilience carries this name because for 4 years I've worked at the European Commission imagining policies for resilience as policies that are characteristic of a future that is full of shocking situations. But if I use this terminology, you think of a negative type of shock. Well, shocks can be also, shocking situations can be also positive shocking situations. This is the difference between an entrepreneur and the politician that sees a future and that commits himself to realize this future, and those who instead do not. Resilience is a very powerful notion because it tells us that we can change favorably also positive shocks. And we can also need to understand how, following a shock, we should not hope to recover from the past, but also to leap forward, just as MSC has been able to do. Accepting the notion of resilience, however, implies accepting the notion of vulnerability. And it is not something that's easy to accept, to convert it and transform it into something positive. Well, now, I believe that this dramatic situation of the pandemic will teach us that despite all the difficulties, and today we're here to celebrate this success, well, our vulnerability can be changed and turned into force, power, and strength as a system. Public funds are not enough to change and transform our country, no matter how great they are. We need also private investments. And we know that international finance is more and more oriented towards investments for sustainability, for improving our life today, but mostly the life of our future generations. We are perfectly aware that our government has an extraordinary, a special task to spend the funds that are made available in the right way. But it also has a task of making our country become attractive again for national funds, but mostly for international funds. If we are able to work as a system, as has been done for this extraordinary jewel that we are on board, we will not have to fear competitors. We will not have to fear the future. But working as a system requires a daily commitment and effort on the part of everyone. And I thank you for this. And my wish is that you can continue working in this direction, moving in this direction, conjugating the workers, ideas, local community, institutions, because the recovery and resilience of Italy only in this way can be rapidly driven ahead, full ahead, as in our slogan today. Thank you for what you have done, and thank you for what you will do. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Well, now comes a solemn and very important moment. The ceremonial bottle containing the very first water that touched MSC Seashore's hull on the day of her float out will be handed over. So I invite to join me on site Roberto Olivari, Monfalcone Shipyard's director, and the captain of MSC Seashore, Captain Giuseppe Galano. Welcome. Now, can we see this beautiful ceremonial bottle? It's a very exciting moment, isn't it? Yes, it is indeed. So, the floor is yours. I know you have photographs. Thank you on behalf of the entire shipyard. Thank you. Yes, it's quite heavy, so can you help the gentleman? Thank you. Thank you. I really would like to thank the director of this shipyard and Fincantieri for the enormous effort made so that it was possible to hand over MSC Seashore today. Of course, I participated in the recent work done on board the ship because I was here. So I fully appreciated your efforts, and I really would like to thank you. I have some personal thanks to express to a team that worked really hard in building this ship. And I think it is important to acknowledge this. I really would like to thank you all for appreciating our work here at the shipyard. This handover is a special one for us too, unlike others. Now, as you all know, the period in which we were building this ship was impacted by the three waves of COVID-19 surges. And I think it is important to say that all our workers have always had a very high sense of responsibility and discipline, demonstrating extraordinary resilience to be able to achieve the final goal. Responsibility and discipline for listening to us and following all the safety rules that were introduced to combat and contrast the widespread of the COVID-19. And thank you for overcoming all technical management and other types of obstacles to be able to achieve the final result, setting in place the right measures. And our company and team can be compared to what for the captain is the anchor, and and the chain. Our company too is united like the rings of a chain. One depends on the other, and mutually so. And at the end of this hard work, I really would like to thank, in particular, all the workers of Fincantieri and of all our suppliers and all their managers. Thank you for the dedication and put into your work, for the sacrifices made by you and your families, for following us and working on different ships. All our production team, made up of all our supervisors, head workers, guided by Pivetta and Dalla. You did a great job. My closest collaborators, production director and co-directors, Bazzara and Viduli, technical and managerial director, Mageria, personnel manager, Tosi. All colleagues from the offices supporting production, technical office, production control, management control. You have always been the backbone of our team, also and especially in the most difficult times. All the colleagues from all the services that are auxiliary to production, personal department, general services, maintenance, meta service, always impeccable. Those who protect us when working, environment office, safety at work, security, the infirmary, the firefighters, and all the different offices, you're always there ready to prepare the grounds for us. Big thanks go to the project management team headed by Engineer Divcesco for professionalism, dedication, and closeness shown in during all the different stages of building this ship. Special thanks go to all our colleagues based in Trieste. On a daily basis, they support us. The operation, general planning, quality information headed by Gumiero, technical office and purchasing department headed by Punta and Costas, always ready to deal with any issue. Our general direction, Mr. Cesarino. The Italian Naval Registry team, headed by Dubong, for your total availability anytime. To MSC site team, thank you, headed by Mr. Lumbrano, with whom we have treaded along this very long path to reach this high level of quality. Last but not least, I would like to thank one team in particular, which for over a year and a half in the backstage has been helping us to carry out everything that was necessary to fight the widespread of COVID-19, headed by Mr. Zanoni. Thanks to this team, our shipyard has a vaccination hub of its own now. Captain reached the end. So I thank you for your collaboration in preparing the ship for it to be delivered. On behalf of the whole of our shipyard, we are pleased and proud to hand over to you this jewel. Wishing you fair winds, MSC Seashore. Thank you. I wanted to say something. I'm very honored to be here on the stage today and to take over the command of this beautiful ship. I believe that she is the most beautiful ship I've ever seen in my entire career. 30 seconds I need just to express my special thanks to Mr. Aponte, to the godmother, Madame Alexa, Mr. Vago, Mr. Onorato, to President Emilio La Scala and all his collaborators, and those of you who are watching us from home and that have made it possible for me to be here today. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Olivari, and thank you, Captain Galano, Captain of MSC Seashore, for your kind words. Now, I want to move closer to this part of the stage because something is happening. There's a piano that has been brought on stage. Well, we are a privileged people living in a privileged country, almost entirely surrounded by wonderful seas. Well, we are practically would-be islanders, a people who in times of dire straits have had the chance to seek their fate at sea, entrusting it with their dreams, chasing their future. We have Maestro Campagnoli, who is ready. I want to move closer to Maestro Campagnoli because he is the person who's always accompanying me in these musical voyages, because his hands and his soul are one single element in his music. Maestro, you ready?
dove il mare luccica e tira forte il vento, lassù una vecchia terrazza davanti al golfo di Sorrento. Un uomo abbraccia una ragazza dopo che aveva pianto, poi si schiarisce la voce, ricomincia il canto. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te vene, sai. Vide le luci in mezzo al mare, penso alle notti là in America, ma erano solo le lampare e la bianca scia di un'elica. Sentì il dolore nella musica, si alzò dal piano forte, ma quando vide la luna uscire da una nuvola gli sembrò più dolce anche la morte. Guardò negli occhi la ragazza, quegli occhi verdi come il mare. Poi all'improvviso uscì una lacrima e lui credette di affogare. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te vene, di te vene. Potenza della lirica, dove ogni dramma è un falso, che con un po' di trucco e con la mimica sì, puoi diventare un altro. Ma due occhi che ti guardano così vicini e veri, ti fanno scordare le parole, confondono i pensieri. Così diventa tutto piccolo, anche le notti là in America. Ti volti e vedi la tua vita come la scia di un'elica. Ma sì, è la vita che finisce, e lui non ci pensò poi tanto. Anzi, si sentiva già felice e ricominciò il suo canto. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te vene, di te vene. È una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te vene, di te vene, di te vene. Grazie.
Thank you. Thank you, Maestro Campagnoli. Thank you. I think we've connected. Yes. Yes, so now it's the moment that we've been waiting for since the beginning of this ceremony. So ideally and virtually, we're moving outside this theater for another solemn moment that characterizes this ceremony that will be following from our maxi screen. Fabio Gatti will be the master of ceremony on the dock. Are you there, Fabio? Yes. Yes. Well, how does it feel? Well, we're all very excited. We're all ready. And we will soon begin with the first part of our ceremony. You see, there are very many surprises, some traditional moments, some institutional moments, and then the grand finale. And we'll all live it together, experience it together soon. Yes, we also have experienced some really very passionate and exciting moments here on the theater, witnessing the history of these great companies, leaders in the world, and we're very pleased to be involved in this other significant moment. Yes, Serena, we're ready. So thank you, Serena, and I really would like to thank all the audience and stay in the theater with you, all of you following us from home. So we're ready for the very first moment, a very exciting one in this ceremony. It's the baptism of MSC Seashore. So it's my pleasure to announce the arrival of some very important personalities, because they will all parade for you, the employees of Fincantieri and the officers of MSC Seashore. Great masterpieces are built together, and together they are parading, officers and workers, looking together towards the future, and with enthusiasm, great professionalism, fully aware that together they can achieve some fantastic and beautiful goals and achievements. Fincantieri employees and officers of MSC Seashore together. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now comes another significant moment in the ceremony. It's a change of flags. So I would like to invite to join me here on stage the CEO of Fincantieri, Mr. Giuseppe Bono, the founder of and president of MSC Group, Mr. Laponte, and Captain Galano, captain of MSC Seashore. I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Bono for his greetings. I would like to greet you all. Oh, my people. There's no woman among you. I didn't see any. And yet, we do have very many. Yes, there is one? Oh, okay, there she is. Of course, I was joking. This is one of the most beautiful ceremonies in our tradition. And it is the ceremony that actually gives the ship her official name. And my dear Alexa, from this moment onwards, on top of your natural children, you have an extra daughter, the ship. She is big, but she required a lot of effort and a lot of sacrifice. I am confident that it will be a message for us, for Italy, for the whole world. Now, we must not make mistakes. We have to walk down that last mile and recover better than before, stronger than before. Minister Giovannini has mentioned that we need to develop necessary technologies. We cannot afford making mistakes in this sense because we do not want to rush down this path and make mistakes. We want to achieve goals that will be long-lasting. But this will not be Italy's challenge or the Western world's challenge or China's challenge. It will be the challenge of the world. In the years to come, we need to feed at least 10 billion people. Mr. Minister, it will not be an easy task. And worldwide, all politicians and policymakers must pull together and tell us that and be convinced that this is the real challenge for mankind. Otherwise, the atomic bomb will be for those people who will not be able to feed themselves. Let us all do, each and every one, our part. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bono. And so now we will have the change of flags. We do have a female member of Fincantieri, and she's ready. Okay, lower the Fincantieri flag and the Italian flag. Captain Galano, I have the honor of handing over to you the command of MSC Seashore. Officers of MSC Seashore, hoist the flag of Malta and the flag of MSC. So this was the ceremony of the change of flag. Malta and MSC are flying. And I give the floor to Mr. Gianluigi Aponte. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today with us to celebrate our new flagship. Special thanks I wish to express to our Minister of Infrastructure, Mr. Giovannini, to the Mayor of Monfalcone, Admiral Carlone, the Prefect, and the parliamentarians who honor us with their presence here at this event that is so important for our society. This new vessel is equipped with cutting-edge technology that allows her to meet the requirements of IMU standards until the year 2050. She is fitted with 4 engines, allowing her to reach a speed of 24 knots with 0 vibrations. And all of this has been made possible thanks to the high technological level that Fincantieri works with, and my congratulations and compliments to all of you in this respect. And my compliments go also to our project manager and his team, to the excellent job done and the excellent result achieved. I also would like to thank our office in London, headed by Mr. La Scala, for contributing to reach and achieve the standards set by the company. Particular special and sincere thanks go to Mr. Bono, to his management team, and to all the workers of Fincantieri for the excellent result achieved despite the multiple problems raised by the pandemic. And it is with great pride and affection that I am pleased to hand the command of MSC Seashore to Captain Galano, who for 40 years now have been navigating with our companies and for over 25 years have been the captain of passenger cruise ships. Captain, fair winds. Thank you, Mr. Aponte. And now comes another traditional moment, the blessing of the ship. I would like to invite Brother Roberto Benvenuto to join me here on stage and take the floor. I would like to greet you on behalf of the Archbishop, whom I represent. And of course, he appreciates the work done by Fincantieri. I also wanted to say that I'm personally pleased to be here because the skyline of when I open my window every morning, well, for many months I've been seeing the outline of the seashore, and she's accompanied me every day in the past months, and I never would have thought that known that I would have been here today. Third thing, all of those who have been involved in building this ship and those who now have taken her over, I would like to put you in the hands of St. Francis. There are very many things that are said about St. Francis, but what nobody says is that he was a worker. He came from a family of merchants, and of course, he then at one point left his family to follow his call, but he continued working always, and he himself used to say, I used to work, and I work, and I will continue work, and I want all our brothers to work. And if they do not know how to work, they need to learn how to work, and they must work. Why? Because work, especially manual work, reminds us of a special worker, Jesus from Nazareth. And so St. Francis really loved work. And this that we see here today is the result of work done by thousands of people. And she is a masterpiece, a proper masterpiece. I appreciated everything that has been said so far this morning. She is a proper masterpiece honoring Italy, Fincantieri and Monfalcone. So now I will bless this ship.
Nel nome del Padre e
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. May the Lord be with you. Let us pray. Lord God, creator of the universe and our Father, you have entrusted your creatures to us so that we might adapt them to meet the needs of our daily life. Now, before celebrating the launching of this new creature, MSC Seashore, we want to express our gratitude, our sincere gratitude to you. MSC Seashore is the daily bread that you are offering to us and our families. And therefore, we call upon you to bless not only this ship, who will be precious for very many people, but also on the members of the ship owner company, on Fincantieri, and on us, because we too, with this ship, when we too on this ship will find ourselves on the sea of life. With this blessed water, please, this is to express our gratitude, and may your blessing be given to MSC Seashore and all of us. May the Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit bless you all. And may we remain in peace with the Lord. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Roberto. Well, now comes another exciting moment. I have the pleasure and honor to invite to join me here on stage together with Minister Enrico Giovannini and the godmother of MSC Seashore, Alexa Aponte Vago. And this is a moment for the institutional photographs. Do not miss this opportunity. This is an historical moment, a memorable one. Okay, another applause for our godmother, who now has a very important job to do. Now, the scissors, we're waiting for the scissors to arrive, that the captain will hand over to the godmother. Okay, can you please hand the scissors over to the captain? Who hands them over to the godmother, who will soon baptize the ship. I give you the name MSC Seashore. We're ready? Wait, because we're going to do it all together. Serena, you ready in the theater for the countdown? And we do a countdown all together from 5 to the final go. Yes, we're ready here from the theater. Let's do it together. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and then we start with 5, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Yes, MSC Seashore is born. This is a very touching and exciting moment. Also here at the theater. Yay, fair winds to this new masterpiece. Yes, we really perceived all the excitement. We felt as if we were there with you, Fabio. Yes, there are very many people being with tears, in tears of happiness, of course, and excitement, and a very moving moment. Thank you also to, once again, to the godmother. I'd like to thank you all. First and foremost, the godmother, Alexa Aponte Vago, the godmother of MSC Seashore. We'd like to thank also Captain I'd like to thank, yes, also the Captain Galano, and I would like to thank also the Fincantieri staff representing all the workers and the MSC officers representing all the MSC officers in the world and MSC staff in the world. An applause for you. Yes, we are applauding too here at the theater. Serena, I'd like to give the connection back to you. We love you. We'll come to see you again because our ships are literally present all over the world. And Fabio, you will be there, won't you? Yes, of course, says Fabio. I will certainly be there. Thank you. Oh my goodness, this was so exciting. So many beautiful things, so many beautiful feelings coming from this ceremony happening and taking place outside on the dock. But I'm sure that those of you who are following us also live streaming perceived the excitement. Well, I would like to conclude by thanking personally Fincantieri and MSC Cruises. I would like to thank all of you who attended here with us in the theater. And the last wish is in this sentence, our slogan for today: Italy full ahead. Fair winds to all of you. Thank you.
Eccoci, ci risiamo qui a teatro. Grazie.
Okay, now we're back.